Welcome to Chapter 12 of Storming Babylon. In this chapter, we will continue to explore the exciting and action-packed world of this thrilling book. We hope you are enjoying the story so far and are eager to find out what happens next. As we delve deeper into the plot, we encourage you to immerse yourself in the exciting events that unfold. From thrilling action scenes to heart-pumping moments of suspense, Storming Babylon is sure to keep you on the edge of your seat. We appreciate your support and hope that you continue to enjoy the journey we have in store for you. Thank you for enjoying the story, and we look forward to sharing more with you in the upcoming chapters.
Chapter 12 Lorenzo.
Lorenzo had been pacing in Papa Mac's office like a caged lion. Bruno and Polina were engrossed in a game of poker in the corner of the room to stay out of Lorenzo's way while the taller vampire continued fuming over his situation.
I should be with the kid. I don't care if he doesn't want my help.
Papa Mac busied himself with the mundane paperwork of another day at his hotel.
When he was growing up, how often did he take help when he didn't ask for it?
Lorenzo had to concede the point.
Not often enough.
Polina smiled at Lorenzo as she poured herself a generous amount of wine.
You think that is changing just because he is older?
That got a chuckle from Bruno as he dealt the next hand. Lorenzo rubbed his eyes in frustration as he tried to formulate a response that would not sound like the angry protests of an overprotective guardian.
Dom is rushing into a boatload of trouble, because we told him to help someone.
He took a seat and tapped for Bruno to deal him in. Mac wandered over to the table and got himself dealt in as well. Lorenzo kicked back too. Mac sent back all 5. Papa Mac reviewed Lorenzo with worry written on his face.
Remind me. If I recall, the chip was originally just for looking into the mortuary situation, right?
Lorenzo lowered his head and gave out a soul-weary sigh.
Yeah.
Polina eyed her cards before flipping several of them to different positions. She threw 3 of them over to Bruno with a big smile. Few people in the organization had the heart to tell her she had the worst poker face imaginable.
He's taking this as a matter of honor. It would be disrespectful to stop him.
Lorenzo turned on the blonde with his fangs showing.
Okay, yeah. So I should just sit on my hands and not be worried?
Mac shook his head.
Our hands are fairly tied on this matter. The council would tear Stati Uniti apart if he moved openly to help Adam.
Lorenzo spat.
I don't understand how you can be so calm about this.
Mac allowed himself a sour grin.
A lot of alcohol and good acting skills help.
That got a chuckle from Polina. Lorenzo was not as amused.
So what can we do?
Mac did his best to ignore Lorenzo's worries.
First of all, I'd like to finish this pleasant game of cards we are engaged in. Then, I will have you and Bruno go over with some head knockers to my dear friend Adam as a plus of business as some dead security.
Lorenzo's eyebrows raised in surprise.
What happened to having our hands tied?
The older vampire grinned like the cat who ate the canary.
You got me there. If he sent a bunch of boys over to his building dressed to kill and spoiling for a fight, it would cause no end to headaches. If Themis and the Elves sent some people over as well.
Lorenzo saw the flaw.
Unless all 13 members of the council are represented, someone will have an axe to grind.
Mac nodded in agreement.
Officially, we're going to be sitting tight at Babylon, enjoying all the hospitality his building has to offer. Let's call it a security exchange meeting at a neutral location. It doesn't get more neutral than Babylon.
And unofficially?
Lorenzo pressed.
It would be kinda convenient to have so many capable people on site if something should go wrong.
Lorenzo was much more satisfied with that.
Your will shall be done.
He was up and out of the office in a flash. Bruno reached across the table and flipped over each of Lorenzo's cards.
Boss, I'm not going to say I am superstitious or nothing. But Lorenzo had aces and 8s. All black.
Papa Mac stared at the cards for a long moment before flipping his hand over to reveal a full house. Polina tossed her cards to Bruno before she crossed her arms with a sullen face.
Why does he get to go play?
It was clear she was referring to Lorenzo from her pouting. Mac did his best to ignore Polina's irritation at the current turn of events. He took a deep breath and stared at the ceiling as he collected his thoughts and concluded the best way to proceed.
2 reasons. Firstly, I need you nearby in case Someone gets foolish and attempts to try to inflict on me what they had unwisely inflicted on poor Artem. Whoever these people are, they put the hurt on Someone close to the king of the city. Means we ain't off the menu.
She was still huffing.
And second,
If I find my boy has been armed, I am going to send my best girl to paint the city red with their blood.
Polina nodded with a wolfish grin.
I like it. It's a good plan.
Max snapped his fingers as he remembered a third reason.
You also let Chen get away. You're a grounded, young lady.
Bruno gathered the discarded cards and started shuffling them with trembling hands. Bruno had known Artem since the doctor was a young boy. Knowing someone bruised and battered him in such a way was enraging.
I still can't believe what they did to the doc.
Bruno finally broke the silence, his voice barely above a whisper. Papa Mac nodded solemnly, his gaze locked on Bruno's hands as they shuffled more insistently now.
We all know the risks of our positions in this city. Artem knows better than most. But it is different when it's Someone we care about.
Once the deck was neatly stacked, Bruno placed it gently on the table, overwhelmed by his emotions.
I can only see him as the little kid holding on to his daddy's pant leg. Every time I think about him getting hurt, I see that little kid and I want to rearrange faces.
Mac waved Polina away. In all likelihood, she was off to play with her toys, the various lethal weapons he had purchased for her over the years. After she was gone, he turned to Bruno.
I don't think you have anything to worry about. Whoever did this isn't likely to skip town.
That's why you want to set us up at Babylon.
You got it, don't let them off easy. You are me, Bruno. They brought some pain like amateur. I want you to teach them what professional pain is.
The large vampire stood bowing with a flourish.
On this, you have my undying promise, boss.
As Bruno left the room, Papa Mac muttered to himself as he arched his fingers.
Splendid.